Hi, today we're going to talk about the introduction of 4.0 image generation by OpenAI, which was released 2 days ago. Now, they're generating a beautiful and also useful content. And let's go ahead and understand some of the examples here. So we have the whiteboard sessions, right? So I'm going to discuss a little bit about the prompt engineering here. But you can see, for example, from the results that it's kind of like very good. The content in terms of like the writing is very good, as well as like this reflection of the person behind this woman, as well as like the Golden Age bridge as well. So it's kind of like very realistic as well. And this one is kind of like, so it keeps the content, and then you can with chat going back and forth basically generate like new content as well. Understanding a little bit about the prompt design there, so you have the introduction here. So the magnetic poetry on a fridge in a mid-century home. That's the example I think from here. Yeah, which is again very realistic as well. So this person like copying and basically putting those words right here in the wall. And okay, so you have the introduction, and then you have some of the examples as well. So you have like the line one, so basically what you want like the text to be, and later on you have like the action. So the man is holding the words and the words a few, and then in his right hand something, and in his left the other word. So it's kind of like very precise. Also, let's comment a little bit about the image generation as well. Let's just jump in a little bit and comment about some of the improved capabilities. So we can mention a bunch here, and I just put here in this diagram to be easier to explain as well. But so they basically train the images, and they have a aggressive post-training, which resulted in a very good result. And some of the improvements are basically, okay, you can better render text, as you can see here, right? So you can better render the text right here from the plates, which are very good. Of course, like some of them, it's kind of like, yeah, it was like the resolution of my screen, but basically, yeah, it's kind of like very good, as you can totally see. And then again, like commenting a little bit about the prompt engineering here, you can think of the prompt design, it's like, okay, so create a photorealistic of the witches. So you have like introduction, and then you have the content, the context basically, so like a city with random street, all this stuff, and also like what is the content of each plate. And then you have like the characters, so the people that interact with the image as well. And then you have some final composition, like what you want in the background, so the streets, the parked cars, and so on and so forth. So it's kind of like very impressive, the results as well. Other than that, we also have the multi-turn generation here, you can see. So basically it's refining the image with the with like the chat interface. So basically with this back and forth, you can see that you're able to like create a better output, for example. So first of all, you have like an image of the cat, and then give a detective head and a monocle, and then you can see right there is the final result. And then later on you can output as well as for a game content, which is pretty impressive again. Later on you have instruction following. That's another example where basically you just mention 16 objects, and basically you say, okay, now generate within this order. So you have by 4-row and a 4-column grid, and then it's able to generate all the content, all the objects here in the correct positions. We also have in context learning as well. So for example, given that you upload images right here, and then you have some description, so like draw, design about something, label, and then this is, for example, like a patent about the bike here. And then basically you can have like this image, and then with interactions with the chatbot itself, you can have like, for example, some ultra realistic results. So for example, draw that into the New York City, which is pretty impressive, right? The resolution as well. Other than that, we have the word knowledge as well. So the word knowledge, we can think about, okay, you have, that's one example of course, but you have like a code, HTML code, and then you put that to the model and say, what do you see? what this means for you. So it's receiving the code, so running the code, understanding the code, running internally, and then outputting the exact logo here that was created with the HTML. Other than that, we have photorealism, which is pretty impressive. Like I wouldn't guess that this is not real, right? Because it's pretty much impressive. So you can see as well the prompt design as well. And we have to comment as well about some of the limitations here. When we think about the limitations, we can consider just some of them right now, but basically we have the cropping. So basically the text as well as like the images are being cropped here, so you cannot see the animals right there, and also like the text are being like excluded, a bit of the text. And another one could be, for example, the hallucination. So for example, considering this whole continent, like of course like multiple continents as being, for example, one country. So this is a hallucination that it's something that they need to like improve so far. So and really important to talk about also safety. Then you can think about some of the things about safety is basically that you can generate a metadata to identify if that came from for all. So this C2PA metadata. So that's one of the watermarks that you can use as well to identify that. And then of course like blocking embed stuff based on the prompt basically, and also the content, which is extremely important as well. And finally, in terms of like availability, you can think about that is being available in the ChatGPT that I'm going to show you later in the video, and also but not yet is available on the API. So that's it. And then you can see, for example, some of the examples right here. This is the live stream replay, and then you can check a look into it as well. Now, showing a little bit about the result here. So the only reason that I'm not running here is because it takes a little bit of time. So yeah, I just already created some of the results, some of the examples that we discussed previously. So here, like, you have to create image. So every time you need to click in these three buttons, create image, and then just see what you want that we're going to do. Basically, this is the bear in the space, which is extremely realistic. You can see like everything is so perfect, and the space is pretty much like impressive. Once you click in the image, you can describe what I want, for example, and suggest some additions, which is the chat perspective of refining the current image. Later on, I just paste here like the example that was in the blog post, but basically you can see that the result wasn't actually the same, but also like you can see some of the problems here, like the Golden Gate bridge is not here, and also like the nose of this man is like not realistic. For example, I canceled this because this was taking a long time to run, but let's go ahead and so yeah, I go ahead and basically went ahead and try it again. And you can see, okay, now you have the Golden Gate bridge right here. The text is pretty much very interesting, but you can see the guy is still with the eyes kind of like not realistic, something that some of the problems that we find here, for example, in the Lee as well. And then I tried another example as well from the blog post. This one is much more better, you can see, but some of the things here are just written, they're not in the white spaces right here, they're not in the cards, so it's not like very realistic, because you cannot do that without the card itself, without pasting the card there. And finally, like I got my image and put here, and then say transform into the Ghibli Studio. It did, but also kept the information here, that like the context, kept the context, a few words that the man was holding on. It just put in my hands, left and right hand. And the interaction, as I mentioned, basically I said, okay, now remove the text and the words, and then basically did, but my fingers continue here, but it's kind of like impressive as well. So it's ultra realistic as well, very near the Ghibli Studio, and yeah, you can see everything looks amazing. Yeah, so that's it. I hope you like it, and thank you for watching.